episode of Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet that has a pet zombie in their tool shed. I'm your host, Chad.
I'm your host, Rob, and today we're going to be giving our first reactions to this new season of The Walking Dead.
As always, you can check us out over at Twitter at Epic Geek Out. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/epicgeekout, and also check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com. But let's get into a review of The Walking Dead Season 4.
So The Walking Dead is back, one of our favorite shows.
Shows, comics, games.
Yeah,
I mean,
so much cool stuff.
Yeah, they're
that
great.
They have in the franchise. And they're actually coming out with a spin-off show on AMC as well, which should be interesting. I'm not sure quite what to expect from that. But this is Season 4. We saw the premiere. We're actually going to see the second episode tonight, so you guys have probably already seen it. But this season kind of picks up a couple months after last season left off.
Definitely a little bit down the road because they formed the council and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I guess
also, I guess we will be spoiling a bit of the first episode
and last season. So if you haven't seen it, you probably don't care what we have to say about this season. So you know, just make sure you catch up. The last season obviously ended a little. What's the word?
I think we were both
deflated.
We were both disappointed with last season's end. I thought that they were going to kind of wrap up the governor's storyline.
In the prison.
They didn't do that. The prison, things like that. I don't think anyone cared that Andrea died. So I think, you know, and then also just we were both big fans of Breaking Bad. We're kind of like getting off that high of such a wonderful ending and show and series that I'm like, oh, The Walking Dead's back? Oh.
Cool.
Watching, but I don't know if I was really excited this time around.
Yeah, so the governor is somewhere. We don't know quite where. They have adopted all the people from Woodbury into the prison now.
And others.
And others that have come along since.
I will ask you 3 questions.
Yeah, interesting. And they've kind of created a little culture there, a little council of advisors, of people that kind of make decisions. They have a little farm area with some livestock and some cool stuff like that. They have kind of some semblance of like education system.
Yeah, more children, like which are just gonna they're gonna kill off in a very sad manner.
It was kind of subdued compared to especially last season's opener where crazy stuff happens super quickly. So it's kind of a different feel, and I don't quite know if it's what everyone was expecting or what's gonna happen, but it seems like things are gonna ramp up rather quickly from this episode. It did outstanding, and the ratings
crushed it. Yeah,
insane. But other than that, I mean, without getting too much into spoilers and what we're expecting to come up, what do you think of the first episode?
Yeah, I think this is exactly what The Walking Dead needed. Is they needed to take a second,
sort of like a reset,
and just say like, and also the new showrunner was saying, Scott Gimple on Talking Dead.
I'm not sure I like him.
Yeah, I mean it's different from other things, but he was saying that it's really going to pick up fast, and I like the fact that they're going to give every character a moment in this season. And he said that there's going to be payoffs for each of the things that they got started.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. I think in the past you spent a little more time with some characters when I wanted to see other people.
Yeah.
So I like that it's going to be this community setting. I mean, Rick and Carl are, always going to be at the center of the story. But I'm excited to see where they take it. I'm going to be very disappointed if the governor lasts throughout this season into another one. I mean, I think that they kind of really have to wrap that up. Yeah. I'm up to date. I think up to date, maybe not, I might have missed one issue to the comics. And it's just crazy how far ahead and the other characters that could be introduced.
They have casted Abraham.
I know, which is all, and also the 2 others, Rosalina and the other guy that I'm forgetting the name of. But so I'm so pumped because I want to see more of the comic into this story. I know that they are separate, universes, but it is great to see someone depicting a character that you like. So I'm in, and I'm excited to check out this episode tonight. They're not losing me as a viewer at any point. And Chris Hardwick, if you need some people for Talking Dead, we'd be happy to do the show for you.
That's the problem is you're bought in at this point. So I don't think that there's any. Is there anything that you think the show could do to lose you?
I do know people that have actually stopped watching, but no, not me because I'm a fan of
especially,
it. Yeah,
like the
I think
stuff that happened.
The last season finale was a test that could have lost me because I was very low on the show after that. I mean, because it just didn't compare to what they promised. Those commercials, 600,000 people are going to die this episode, and it was in such a crappy way that it happened. And
And that's the problem of going off the comic too, is like, you know what happens in the comic and the craziness that ensues at that prison, and it still could very well. I mean, except it probably will have to happen in a different way, but like that could have been awesome. And let's hope that they go there. Maybe like the governor's off recruiting another group of people or something. Who knows what's going on? But I was kind of disappointed that it didn't end that way, because it was safe for me, and I think it's always been a show where I've really enjoyed the parts that weren't safe, and the things that they did that were like, I cannot believe you just did that on TV. It's insane.
See, I agree. It's
what
safe,
the earlier happened,
but that was surprising for me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It has never taken this approach before, so it was new and it was unexpected, and it did kind of have something at the end. It's like, oh no, what's going to happen to them? But are you
talking about the premiere or the
premiere?
Yeah,
the premiere.
Yeah. So overall for the episode, I think. I don't know if it necessarily was what I wanted to see from the first episode, but I think once it kind of ramps up a little bit, we'll look back and say that was great, that we got that time to like sort of slow down, because like we have
spend
all
some
the
time
craziness.
with some characters that are probably going to die.
And we always complain about that with other shows, is like they just don't spend time on character development and blah 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 blah. But this is doing that, and this is giving us what we want. And I think we're just so used to that pace that this might be like an is this gonna be another farm season? Like what's gonna happen? Because that's kind of the only thing that could sort of worry me, but I think overall it's gonna hit all those moments soon. So I think it's off to a good start. I mean, I'm gonna keep watching it. I don't even know why I even have mild criticism, but I guess that's good, because like it's a show that's so good that you have to sometimes have mild criticism.
Absolutely.
So check out Walking Dead. It's on Sundays. It's back. It's awesome.
Yeah, the earlier episodes are on Netflix. I think the last season is, so check it out if you're not caught up.
So it's that time to give some thanks for some awesome stuff that we're checking out. Rob, what's your thanks today?
So I got the chance to check out the new movie Rush this past weekend, directed by Ron Howard. Chris Hemsworth is in it, and it is the story of two famous Formula One drivers, I think in the 70s, and the commercials never really did this movie justice. I wasn't excited to see it. Then I started reading a couple reviews, and I decided that I am going to check it out while it's still in theaters. And I'm really happy I did. In 3 weeks I saw Gravity, Captain Phillips, and Rush, and all were great, well-made movies, but were different well-made movies. This was really the story of two guys who were completely different, and how in the end their rivalry was what made them world champions. There was a really cool line in the movie, your best friend doesn't get you as far as your best enemy does, because you're always wanting to better yourself because of the competition with the other person. And I'm like, thinking about that, I'm like, that is so very true. And this movie was just beautifully shot. There were moments that looked like it was coming out of like the best racing video game, of like the angles of like a low shot, like looking up of the tire, just the hood, like, vibrating a little bit. Really beautifully shot. Really a truly amazing story that I think deserves a movie to tell it. I'd highly recommend it to anyone. It's you don't have to love cars for it. I am by no means into Formula One racing. It's a story about two competitors who approach things drastically differently. And it's about them. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely not something that I would seek out, but word of mouth hearing about it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna thank a really hilarious group of things that I found this week. It's called Bad Lip Reading. It's a channel on YouTube, and the two that stuck out to me were they did a Game of Thrones one, which kind of put it in like a trailer for like a bad like Renaissance fair like Adventure Time movie. Is Adventure Time? Is that or Adventure World? That with Jesse Eisenberg, when he's the theme park.
Oh, Adventureland.
Adventureland. I knew it was one of those. Yeah. It felt like that, but like in a Renaissance fair. And then they did a Walking Dead one as well, which was really funny. And basically, the whole what concept is they do voiceovers, but they match it with like it's like lip reading. So what the characters are saying actually look like what they're saying, and it's just really hilarious. And it's really clever. Some of the things like don't make any sense at all, but some of them when they work, it's just awesome.
And I'm sure it helps because you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you're a fan of Walking Dead, so the moment was probably like drastically different than how they're
Yeah.
portraying it.
I was
then.
literally laughing out loud at work, and it was I always
At
get
work.
mad at people. No, people at work laugh out loud all the time, and I get so irritated. And I'm like, oh, this is why they watch stuff like this. They do a bunch of like political ones too. Like they did the inauguration speech from Obama this year, and it was pretty funny. So check that out if you're into like any funny stuff.
If you like laughing.
Yeah. So that's it for this week of episodes. We'll be back next week with some more episodes for you. Thanks for watching. As always, we appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.